we're about to talk chaos, but professional chaos in the boxing ring. And joining me to do this discussion is no other. Let me keep it very simple because it's going to get extremely lengthy very soon. No other than the man who has made boxing sexy again on the internet. The man who is pioneering modern boxing journalism. He is, a ringside reporter. He actually has been in the situation where he settled a couple of fights off the four square. Yeah, he's that strong, you know. His name is Radio Rahim. How are you doing, my brother?
Well, first of all, thank you for bringing the sexy back to my introduction.
Ooh.
I don't know that anyone has ever really given me that credit for bringing the sexy back to boxing. Wasn't sure I was doing it, but now I'm certain that is my new mission for 2026. Sexy shall return on my back in boxing.
Yeah, so he's bringing the sexy back. So you see, let me just add a little bit here. Reason why I'm saying you bring the sexy back is aside from the fact that you are the executive brains behind the first podcast, which is till this day.
That's right.
He's added another one. Yeah, and that is about that
action.
That's what it is. How has it been being back in the system, activating heavily about that action? We're about to have some action here.
The difference between the two shows is that till this day, in the wake of the viral interview between Deontay Wilder and myself, happened during COVID. And so I was finding ways to continue conversations about the fight inside people who were not necessarily boxers. It was an advent of the time. We were in such a unique situation that I found a way to continue these conversations, and it took me into places that are not necessarily sport, but made me realize that inside so many accomplished people, there is a fighter. That was the lesson learned there. About that action, which is what I'm into now, Sean Zattel and I are co-hosting that podcast, is about the time that's happening as we speak. The world and the sport of boxing is evolving. Things are happening that we haven't seen before. Changes are being made that will have long-standing consequences. And the fighter is looking at a landscape unlike anything we've seen in the past. So what I have not done in this long career of boxing journalism in the past really has offered my analysis on a regular basis.
Okay.
Even until this day, which was not fighters, and all the interviews that you have seen prior, my mission really is to give the voice to the fighter, to get inside of their head and their hearts and let them express themselves, be a conduit for that. But about that action is an opportunity for me to express myself, to give you a view into my head and heart and see where I'm coming from and how I view the sport and the experiences that I've had. Sean Zattel, the same. So the experience I'm having now is unique to anything I've done in the sport before. I'm enjoying it. It's given me an opportunity to think about my perspective also. I'm also so often thinking about what someone else is doing in the sport and how I can get that out of them and how I can figure out what they're wanting to say and give them an opportunity to say it, to turn that light on myself, to be introspective and to form my words and express myself to the fans about what I think and how I see things and what I've experienced is new for me, and I'm enjoying it. It's a great show. Most of the time, it's just Sean and I, and every now and then we have a guest on. We've had two so far, the first being Bill Haney, father of Devin Haney. That's a hilarious and our pioneer episode of having a guest. And then the second, because Bill got at Eddie Hearn quite a few times as they were beefing at the moment. So our second guest was Eddie Hearn. Both episodes are great. We look forward to many, many more episodes in 2026. In fact, we recorded an episode this morning before I came here about the retirement of first ballot Hall of Famer by anybody's estimation, Terrence Crawford, retired in the wee hours of the night for us. And so this morning we got up and spoke on that.
Now, quickly, let's stay a bit on Terrence before we talk about Legacy Rise. I was about to get to Legacy Rise, but you mentioned Terrence, and I know your personal relationship with Terrence and how it goes on. How is he feeling? Was it a difficult think for him to come out and say that it's enough, enough is just enough,
I can only analyze how he's feeling on what I'm seeing.
Okay.
Terrence Crawford and I don't have a particularly close personal conversation or relationship. I've been covering his career for many years, and I think we have a cordial professional relationship, but I don't know him like that, as people would say. I've never been to his house. I don't get invited for Thanksgiving. He don't call me in the middle of the night talking about his fears and hopes.
On this side of the world, once we are seen constantly in someone's company, you are cool with them.
I'm cool with them.
That's it.
But I don't know him like that.
Okay.
You understand? These are two different distinctions.
Totally
we are
different.
very cool.
Yeah.
And it gives me a objective perspective because we're not close personal friends. I don't make close personal friends out of fighters or trainers or promoters because I have to cover them and their careers, their failures and their successes objectively. And once you are friends and personal, it's very difficult to keep that objective viewpoint. So that's one of the things that keeps a distance between me and everybody in the sport of boxing until they retire. So maybe tomorrow, Terrence Crawford and I become close personal friends, and that becomes the next chapter of our relationship. I would love that. The way I see his retirement, however, is very strategic and high-minded. He's at the top. Everybody wants to retire at the top. Very, very, very few people do, and some who have come back into the sport and end up blemishing that exit that they originally had. For fighters, I can't trust any of them. Not a single one that says he's retiring, because the call of the action is so strong that it's difficult for them to stay out. And especially if they do retire at the top, when people still want to see them, when there are still challenges left, it's hard to hold to that I'm not coming back. When the money starts rolling in, the fans start demanding, opportunity pops up, you're sitting at home, you're bored, the life that you once had is no longer there, the spotlight's not on you, your wife's getting on your nerves, your kids won't leave you alone, and you can go make tens of millions of dollars doing what you love, and you think you can win, it's hard to stay on that couch. Terrence Crawford is a unique situation because there isn't really a fight out there for him right now that is a great challenge. There's fights he could have that might be interesting, but you can't call a name within reason where you're like, oh, this guy is a serious Crawford challenge. This guy might beat him anywhere near his weight class. You can't say that. There's no fight he's leaving on the table that he's ducked or should have had and never did. It's a good time to take a break. All he's going to do now, there's no super fight, so he'll just be fighting to stay busy, and that's a dangerous space to be in because he might no longer be engaged and motivated and find himself on the wrong end of a bad night. So you go out on top, and that's what Terrence is doing. And if he stays out, then he will be one of the very, very few fighters who can say that they did that successfully.
Wonderful. I like how you ended that part, but we'll come back to that. But now let's just talk a little bit more about what brought you to Ghana for the second time. Before we get into it, on behalf of the Legacy Rise team, I'll say thank you to you for always carrying the shirt with you wherever you go. I see you wearing the shirt a lot. Yeah, don't ask me how I do, but I just have my ways. I have my ways. But you're back in Ghana, certainly for boxing reasons. I hope you enjoyed the other time, hence you back.
Yes, listen, the reason you see me with the Legacy Rise shirt and always waving that flag is because they've done so much, not just for boxing in this country, but for the view of boxing in this country globally. And for me personally, who had never been to the continent of Africa at all, much less Ghana specifically, this time last year. All of this has transpired since March of 2025. And it has been a glorious experience. And here we are on the precipice of a global broadcast co-promoted with Matchroom, one of the top promoters in the game, on DAZN, the premier boxing network, and Legacy Rise Sports is at the pinnacle of that promotion. That doesn't happen without them. Me coming here in March and seeing what is so incredible about the atmosphere at a boxing match here, the passion that the fighters have, the adversity that they face preparing properly in certain conditions that are not elite or top technical conditions, but the drive and the commitment that they have to the sport, sometimes in gyms that just don't have any kind of top level equipment, but the fighters themselves have the commitment to the sport to make the best of their circumstances. The world now has come to take notice, and because of Legacy Rise Sports, the world will have an opportunity to do just that. Because of Legacy Rise Sports, I'm here with my mother. Brought my mother to the continent of Africa for the very first time.
That's
She's
nice.
never been anywhere on this continent. She's coming through the gate, which is Ghana.
Yeah.
And if this event weren't happening, if Legacy Rise Sports didn't support me in bringing her here, if we weren't able to put on a show like we will have this Saturday,
Certainly.
an absolute cracker of a fight, then none of those things would be possible. And so, yes, you will see me with the shirt on. You will see me saying Legacy Rise Sports is the home of boxing, and that this is the beginning of something great. What you see on Saturday night is the first step on the global stage of where Legacy Rise Sports will take boxing in Ghana and what the world will see about the culture of boxing here, which I think is glorious, beautiful, and must be experienced by everyone.
Now, in the build-up to this particular bout, you've had the opportunity of meeting a couple of people behind the scenes. How is it? How is the feeling like? A little birdie told me that you actually also met the president of the land already.
Absolutely. In fact, the first visit, I came with Don Charles, the former trainer of Daniel Dubois, the IBF heavyweight champion of the time. And again, because of Sharaf Muhammad, who is the founder and CEO of Legacy Rise Sports, who brought us over, he was gracious enough to set up a meeting on our way on the last day with his father, obviously the president, John Muhammad. His Excellency was so generous with his time, so welcoming into his home, and we had a long conversation. We really learned a lot about the country while we were here during that conversation, the motivation that he has, and the company that his son has founded and is now running for the sport of boxing. I've had an opportunity to meet people like you who are thriving in sports journalism and have a beautiful studio here. You've got a crew, it's professional, it's well lit, it is anything and everything you could get anyplace else except that you are here. So the one thing that you can't get anyplace else but Ghana is right here off the cuff. This show only exists here because you have the opportunity to show your own excellence. I've seen that in different fields across this country. And because I do sports, I've been in studios all over the world with the best of them, of whom I include you.
Thank you.
Nobody is doing it better than Ghana. Nobody has more passion for sports and television and production. Nobody has more ambition, and it's just about opportunity. So you're making the most of your opportunities. I believe that Legacy Rise Sports is giving the boxing community an opportunity here that wouldn't exist without them. And I thank the president for welcoming me and all of us into the country, a country that we can be proud of, a country that we are safe in, that we are comfortable in, that has people like yourself to engage, the country that I'm eating well, the food is clean, the streets are fun, I can go to the market and get my mongos, and it is an experience every time I've come here. I've been here many times now, and each time I cherish that experience, so much so that I've brought my mother. You know, you don't bring your mother no place you're not comfortable, that's not safe, that's not fun, and she's having that experience. So credit to everybody involved, and I can't wait for this Saturday night so that the world can see it.
That's what I was going to.
So really, you got to come here yourself. On Saturday, if you haven't had an opportunity to get to Ghana yet, when you see on Saturday is just a small piece of what is here. The experience that you have through your television will not match what you do when you're on the ground. So next year, if you don't get here yet, in 2026, plan your trip to Ghana. It's a beautiful place to be.
In 2026, you need to plan. You understand? Let me give you the trajectory of what has been happening so far. So in March, the bout was at the Bukom Sports Complex, or I call it the Emporium, the Snit Sports Emporium. Now, the capacity of that place, double it, add a little, and that is where they are moving to this time. And that is the University of Ghana Sports Stadium. It's going to be happening there on Saturday. Listen, I don't need to tell you what's about to happen, but it's going to be done in a professional way. Professional way. And you're going to enjoy it. So double that number with a lot more luxury attached to it, because there's now more space to bring in a lot more luxurious items to make you feel very comfortable. You understand? Yeah. So the showdown. What are you expecting in terms of ring action? I've already seen the boxers touch down. Some of the boxers coming through from the UK touching down. Already some are getting face-offs at the airport. It's all going down. It's now becoming a huge soup it's really becoming very interesting. What are your expectations in ring?
The first fights I've seen here, starting back in March, were marked in that arena that you speak of. I call it Bukum Arena.
Yeah, so Bukum Boxing Arena Bukum Snit Sports Emporium. It's all in Bukum.
The energy is so high because there's so many rivalries going on. Tribal conflicts being settled in the ring, territorial conflicts being settled in the ring, long-standing beefs being settled with the gloves, and the energy is so electric because everybody's invested in one fighter or the other. What is happening on Saturday night is started in South London. South London is a hard scrabble neighborhood. It is a place where people cut their teeth and get their grit. It is a boxing community of the best and the toughest. And there's a rivalry that exists there between Dan Aziz and Craig Richards. That rivalry will not be settled on the soil of South London. That rivalry will be brought to bear on Saturday night in a arena that is double the size of Bukum because this has expanded and grown more than double the anticipation. The size of the event is more than what can be held, even in the arena that we'll be in on Saturday because it's a global event. But South London is pulling up to settle their beef right here in Accra. On Legacy Rise, partner with Matchroom, on DAZN, Saturday night you will see the neighborhood, the global diaspora come to bear right here in the local community. That is a rivalry that is justified being here because the energy in every fight you see here has that kind of action, has that kind of two-sided dynamic, has people on both sides committed to their fighter and wanting their man to win because the rivalry is real. Well, that is part of what makes this a global event, that the world is coming to convene on Saturday night. And those two fighters, they're fighting for pride. They're fighting for their future. Because whoever comes through has a path to chart. Whoever doesn't make the cut has to go back to the drawing board and think about if boxing has a future for them. That's a lot of stakes. And it's getting settled Saturday night. Man, I cannot wait. You cannot be anyplace else. And if you aren't there in person, boy, you better tune into DAZN because it is going to be a barn burner.
It's gonna be hard. It's gonna be fire. But let me just take you through a couple of the bouts for the evening. So you're going to be having Lai versus Dogbate, and that is for the IBF African Featherweight title. Yeah. So I have seen both fighters fight before. This year, actually, I've seen both fighters fight before. Yeah. I'll not lie. I'll just tell you the truth. I'll tell you the truth. And it was power-packed. Yeah. And especially, you see, before I continue, when you were watching the bouts in Bukum, do you remember the words that they say when a fighter lands a punch?
What's that?
There's normally a generic chant anytime a fighter lands a punch or something.
What's that? I don't know.
So in the Ga community, it's when the fight's going on, you hit someone, you say, "Oh,
okay, I've heard this, but I didn't know that was because a punch was landing.
Oh, you're going to experience it in an amplified version on Saturday.
Okay, I thought they were just hyped in general. What does this mean?
So it's more like, the punch has landed. Let's go.
Okay.
Just get the fire.
You know what? Next time I arrive at the airport,
Yeah.
I want people outside chanting that because the punch has landed.
All right. I get where you're coming from. You're going to look for trouble for me anyways. Now, let's continue on the card still. So there's a WBA Africa super lightweight fight, and that's going to be between Latte and Brandon in that one. Yeah, so it goes on. And we also have Freezy McBones fighting on the cards as well. Yeah, Freezy McBones, and he's going to be fighting, I think, Tete in that bout. And the big one is Richard versus Aziz. Yeah, it's going to go down big time.
Incredible matchups. What a good card. I mean, these are solid fights. Everybody on the card has something to fight for.
Yeah.
And what we will see on Saturday night is just the energy and the atmosphere that only Ghana can bring. That's the other star of the show. There's a lot of stars in the ring, but I got to tell you, the people surrounding the ring, in the seats, in the stands, standing room only, the broadcast team, everybody is going to be a part of an atmosphere that you can't just manufacture. It has to be organic. It has to be real. It has to come from the heart, and that's what Ghana delivers every time.
That's true. And one thing you're sure to see on this particular lineup is you're not going to get, like Rahim said earlier, boxers who retire and want to come back. They retire and then they just make a U-turn quickly back into the ring. Yeah, you're not going to be seeing any of such names on this particular list. True or no?
Everybody's on the way up. Everybody's looking for their way forward. Nobody has decided that it's over for them yet. These are guys with ambition. They've got futures at stake. They are looking to win on Saturday night and make names for themselves, create new fans, be seen, some of them for the first time globally. So, yeah, nobody's coming here as a lay-down Sally. There ain't no cab drivers, and there's nobody coming here half mustard or not prepared.
Yeah.
Everybody you see on the card on Saturday night has something to fight for, and on Sunday morning they want to wake up with something more in their coffers and on their fan base than they had Saturday morning.
Wonderful. But let's talk on the cards, and you'd see that the Riyadh season is also part of this whole movement. Let's talk about how, I would dare say, new money is influencing the sport of boxing. Now, boxing has not only been big in the US, specifically in the Vegas area. It's now going out, and the Saudis are really pumping a lot of cash into it through their Riyadh season initiative. And then you've also got the likes of Legacy Rise also tapping into that and getting the global appeal for the sport back up. Let's talk about the new money trickling into boxing. Is it a healthy thing that it's being spread across the globe now, making it more global than we thought before?
Money ain't new. Money's always been in boxing. It's where the money's going that make the fights.
Okay.
And what we have to acknowledge is, of late, with this influx of money being directed towards fighters and enough money directed towards promoters to settle their beefs in the boardroom so that they can work together, we're getting fight after fight after fight that we want night after night after night. This is, for a boxing fan, the best possible scenario. The world is getting smaller. The internet is reaching all corners. You can see and become a fan of fighters all over the world, where just a decade ago, it might have been more difficult to learn somebody's name who wasn't fighting, at least in your region. 2 or 3 decades ago, it would have been impossible. So now, the world has become so much smaller, but the stage of boxing becomes bigger. That is a blessing. As a fan of the sport, you couldn't ask for anything more. Every single month, it seems that we're either talking about a great fight that just happened, or talking about a great fight that's about to happen, or sitting ringside at a great fight that's happening. You can't ask for more than that. And this Saturday night, I'll be sitting ringside for a great fight that is happening that also has global impact because of where it's happening and who's involved. And a massive promotion company like Matchroom is partnering with a massive promotion company in Ghana like Legacy Rise Sports. And together, they are bringing something global to the stage of boxing that maybe wasn't possible if there weren't a network like DAZN that is available across the world on apps, on your television. You can see it anywhere almost in the world. And so the amount of things that have to happen and be in place for what's happening on Saturday night to occur is all in place now in boxing, and you have to be grateful for that.
Wonderful. We have to be grateful for that. And this money has led to other public figures joining the sport of boxing. What do you think of the likes of Jake Paul trying to, I still want to say trying to become boxers, because
he's not trying to become a boxer.
you see him as a
boxing.
So he's a boxer?
He's boxing, and he is certainly boxing one of the best boxers he could have asked for in Anthony Joshua.
Yeah.
It is an incredibly difficult feat that he has put in front of him, and that is a fighter's mentality. So not only is he boxing, but he is a fighter. Now, I don't know what your definition of a boxer is, but the man's a fighter, and he's boxing. Again, to me, that meets the standard. And he is not boxing somebody who he should beat by any stretch of the imagination. He is taking on a challenge that is unimaginable, really. So I don't know what is going to happen, but I'll tell you something. If anything other than what should happen, by every analysis you could possibly plausibly come up with, anything other than Anthony Joshua winning that fight, I won't even say in the first round or the first 3 rounds, let's just say winning. If Anthony Joshua does it inconvincingly, I'm not talking about no close fight, if he does not convincingly, definitively win that fight, then everyone in boxing, everyone, has to take a look at what we have spent our lives doing and wonder if we have wasted our time. Because nothing makes sense anymore.
Oh, that's hard, but I get where you're coming from, saying that Joshua should actually be able to just surmount this mountain of...
But what we know about boxing, there should be no other possible outcome.
Exactly.
Which is, Jake Paul's not daring to be great. He is daring to do the impossible by every analysis of the pugilist science that I'm aware of. Yeah. Okay? And so if he manages that, he will have succeeded in the greatest upset in sports, not just boxing, in sports history. That's how big a hurdle it is ahead of him. And you have to be commended, if you're the type of person that Jake Paul is, to take on that kind of challenge in a sport that is as dangerous and violent and has as many potential deadly outcomes as boxing. This is not a game. You cannot play it, and I will not believe for a second that Anthony Joshua would ever engage in anything that were performative or rigged or fixed or scripted or predetermined, and Joshua's not doing that. I don't think Jake Paul is doing that. So that means we got a real fight on our hands, and there's real danger involved. So the guy who stepped up and decided to put this danger right smack dab in front of himself must be commended for his heart, must be commended for his cojones, his balls.
Yeah.
And Anthony Joshua must do the business for all of boxing. Otherwise, we've all got to find new careers. All of us. If Joshua loses, we're all done.
We're all done. Well, that's true. So Joshua was also here during the first bout promotion that was put together this year by Legacy Rise. So this time he could not be here because of the fight we just talking about that he has with Mr. Paul. I'll just call him back.
I believe, however, that next year we will see him again. Now, again, this is one of those exceptions where I do feel like I have a personal relationship with Anthony Joshua.
Yeah.
I've covered him for so long. I can't say that we have grown super close as friends, but I do feel like there's a personal connection. A lot of it was forged when he was here this last time and I was here for that fight because I don't spend casual time with fighters normally, but because of the circumstance, we did. We went all over Ghana. We experienced different things, made chocolate with a whole bunch of guys, but it was fun. And it was an opportunity to really be outside of journalist and boxer and just be friends. And we've had friendly moments before, and I know that this man is inspired by legacy, by history, by what happens here on the continent he is connected to. I believe his experience in Ghana makes him want to come back, wants to put on a huge show here. I think what happens in Miami probably really propels him into a new level of stardom because the stage is so big. And he'll want to bring that shine back to the continent, and he will, I believe, bring it right here home to Ghana because of the experience he had here last time and how much people want to receive him, how inspired they were by him, and what it would mean to this region, this continent, but specifically this country and the people who received him and honored him last time out. I think he will deliver in return that stardom, that power, and that presence that Anthony Joshua brings.
That's very true, because I'm also hearing stuff that we might be finding him in the ring. Actually, he will not be coming this time only to just hang around with us as well. But maybe there might be just some.
Oh, that's what I'm talking about. We gotta get some. We gotta get about that action.
Yeah,
in the square circle. Yeah, we need. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about just hanging out at Bondi Beach.
No.
I'm talking about gloving up and putting on the show the likes like Muhammad Ali did in Congo at one time, like Manny Pacquiao has, done for his countrymen, or like there are just very few fighters who have made a stand of coming home and putting on a show for the countrymen. Now, we know that Anthony Joshua's roots are African. It's no consequence which country necessarily in West Africa he's from. It's where he can be hosted.
That's true.
On the stage that is representative of his star power. And where really the reception is for him to be at home. He's at home any place on the continent. Ghana as much as any place else. But I believe the people here, the platform that we offer, Legacy Rise Sports, and the welcome and the honor that they received him with last time, and the motivation of people like His Excellency Turki al-Sheikh and Matchroom, who is co-promoting the fight on Saturday, now will have had some experience here in the country that will be positive, brings in their superstar to make that mark. And that mark will be made for the whole of the continent of Africa. Because it's in Ghana doesn't mean that it doesn't permeate to every country and every nation on this continent. So it's something we will all share together, but something that we'll put on right here at home.
Our brothers in Nigeria, don't worry, okay? You know we love you, and we know
and we'll receive you.
We always do receive you.
And it is a win for the entire continent.
Everyone wins.
And it will be hosted by West Africa.
Certainly so.
And the world will take notice. So none of this artificial borders of countries, none of this tribalism, none of this division. This is a moment that the whole of the entire continent have to come together and unify as one behind a superstar bringing it home and shining on the continent of Africa through the lens of Ghana.
I just love this conversation. I wish we can go on and on. And the thing is, I constantly have numerous questions to ask, but I've always got very little time to do so.
But we will always have an opportunity to do it again.
Always.
God willing.
Always.
Because I will always return to this seat whenever I am in this country. It's one of my most favorite conversations I always have. I commend you every time. Your professionalism, your delivery, your talent, the ability for you to maintain this show and consistently deliver top quality programming. That is, you guys take it for granted. You think anybody can do it. You see it and you think, oh, well, that must be easy. It's not easy. And to do it over and over again at the highest level makes this man a very exceptional talent. So appreciate it, because I do, which is why you'll always see me here when I'm in town.
Thank you. But before you go, last words. What are your last words before you depart in person? Because we will now be moving a lot of our conversations when Rahim is not in town onto Zoom. So you'll be seeing more of Rahim here anytime there's a bout that we need to talk about. Ooh, I like the rhyme of that. There's a bout that we need to talk about. That's it.
It's because Rahim Radio, Rahim is on the team.
Ladies and gentlemen.
2026, if there is a message that I have, it is about my 2025. This time, last year, let's call it that, obviously 2024, going into 2025, I knew that my heart wanted to be on this continent. I knew that I needed to go to Africa at some stage and explore my roots and understand what my connection is there, meet the people, see the talent, be involved in what could be produced there. And I had no idea how that would happen. No idea what would be the catalyst or the vehicle on which I could arrive here.
Okay.
And just 12 months later, as we enter 2026, we are just a few days away from a boxing event that for me personally is such an awe-inspiring accomplishment and moment in life. It's not now that I've just been to the continent of Africa. Now I've been to 4 countries here. My first being Ghana, always my home, always the gate. But now I've explored Africa a little bit. I know people here. I have relationships professionally with some of the greatest talent here as I sit together with you on this show. And am able to put on, with Legacy Rise Sports and Matchroom Boxing as a small part of the promotion myself, being able to do everything that I can to make this show a success because of those 2 massive promotion companies. An event that has global reach and historic impact. This is the first moment in a series of moments that are great for the sport of boxing, for the continent of Africa, for the country of Ghana, for the company of Legacy Rise Sports, and for Matchroom Boxing. As big as a company as they are, as big as a promotion as they are, it's special for them to be here. It is a great opportunity for them to help broadcast a show from here. And it'll be the first step for them in their inroads into Africa and the great, rich resources that we have here as people, as talent, as energy, as seeing boxing through the lens in the community here, as only it can be here. That is something that's special for everybody involved. So nobody is giving us any gifts. Nobody's doing us any favors. This is something that's earned and something that will be repaid to everybody who's involved tenfold. The globe now gets to see it. I believe more people will come to this country based on what they see Saturday night in the coming year.
That's true.
I'll be back as many times as possible. And my message to you is that, yes, as the world gets smaller, everybody on the diaspora, find your way home. Find your way home. That's the whole continent. I like the gate being the first stop. I can't recommend it higher. Start here if you don't know where to go. And from here, find your way through the continent. But if you know where to start and you have some relationship elsewhere on the continent, start there and find your way here. Whichever direction it goes, the heart of this continent is full, and the power will be seen and heard and felt at the end of 2025 on Saturday, and in the coming years and decades. You're at the beginning of something very special.
Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. Thank you so much, Radio Rahim, for hanging out with me again.
guy.
That's what it is.